to talk to you about a few things.
Okay.
The first thing is, what is going on with Jimmy Frost? I'm
What about him?
I'm getting complaints from Maxwell and Spade about him making comments in reports and um they're feeling like he's antagonizing them, and there's something about Forte and like Jimmy apparently keeps going on about how Forte was in a gang and um or is in a gang. I don't know.
Um, I know when Forte was rehired, he made a report about Forte being in a gang and being hired by the LSPD. Uh, which obviously was very concerning because shift three, he was originally shift three when he got fired, so we were the ones that were handling all of that. Um, and dealt with a lot of stuff when it came to Forte. And when he got after his panel and he got fired, he straight up told Jimmy he was in a gang. So you could see like red flags went off in his head, I guess. I think he was wanted to get Shift One's attention for it, and nothing was ever said in response.
I'm
Let me
looking
try to find it.
for a report. 13458.
Yeah, that one. And so he was trying to get the updates there. And then I guess he just found out that Forte was blooded out.
Um, I don't know. Half of this, like, I'm looking at this report, and the way that like it's written and all of this, I'm gonna be honest, it kind of just feels like a meme coming from Jimmy, and he's just kind of being like, you know,
Pain.
yeah. But in conjunction, it would be, I think, one thing if he like left it in this report and he's just, being a little shit, whatever. But then in report 15212, this situation was a whole shit show and a half. I think it's about resolved now, as far as I can tell. It's been dealt with. But Spade was handling it, and Charlotte Spade, and I think she tried to make it very clear on the report, like she didn't want to hear like a bunch of comments from people. You can see that she wrote it in there. Because she wanted to handle it and like be done with it, right? And especially because it wasn't like this whole thing was not like a meme. Like, this was actually like a really bad situation that happened, right? um and then both Spade and Maxwell were upset about Frost's comments. um and even after Spade had asked him to stop, he continued to do it. So I don't know. Why I wanted to talk to you about this is because I had a long talk with Frost a couple weeks ago, and I thought it was like a really good conversation. I felt like we both were able to talk about things. He kind of explained his sort of thoughts and everything, and like um even like the next conversation I had with him was like really positive, and then I just kind of see all of this, and you know I'm looking at it, and I think like I can see he's just being like a stinker, right? And
Yeah.
but like Maxwell and Charlotte don't know him. So all they see is a shift 3 command member basically coming at them in a report. And I told Maxwell, I said, sometimes when this is a thing that I don't like about the report instant messenger is that people tend to read things in a tone in their head, right? It's like you can kind of project shit when you're reading it, right? So while somebody may have written something and it could be completely non-confrontational, no big deal when they wrote it, if you're feeling some kind of way and you read it, you could read it in a completely different way than what they intended.
Yeah. No,
So
I agree.
so I told Maxwell to be careful about like how she's kind of reading, like the tone that she's reading things in, because I do it too. Like I have overreacted on things because I took it a certain way. I like projected my own feelings about it. Um and it just wasn't like that big of a deal. You know what I mean? But now I have two upset people um over something that I had talked to him about and told him to stop doing.
Um. Okay. As
And
far
I,
as
I
the
wouldn't I wouldn't be so like blunt about it if I had never spoken to him about it. But the fact that I had a long conversation about this with him and now it's still going on, I'm kind of like I don't know what to say. I'm disappointed is what I'll say about it.
no, that's fair if you've told them prior to like any of these people being senior or sergeant, we like this is how we operated within command. It was all shifts were welcome to comment on things because I mean, and it's my opinion. I don't know if you agree. When you're brought into command, you are brought into command for the entire department, and you operate out with like within your shift.
Yeah,
And so
I
we would
agree. You were right.
and so we did this type of thing a lot, where we would just comment it regardless of shift, and people did it to our officers in shift 3. We did it to other ones. Like it was kind of more teamwork related. I can definitely see how like Jimmy's comments are getting taken the way they are. Um, I can tell him to stop being a fucking little shit. Because I do think that's kind of what it is. He's kind of stirring the pot.
Like
Um,
he what I said to Maxwell, and God, I feel like I probably said this to you too. If you're given somebody's shit and they're giving it back to you, you know, that's your own business. You guys can work it out. There's like the mutual rapport there, right? But if you're giving somebody shit and they have asked you to stop and you continue to do it, you are in the wrong. Like you need to respect people when they ask you to stop, or they say from the beginning that this should have never even happened. And I think he needs to be reminded of that. Like if you don't have that rapport with somebody, you know, maybe don't do it, or work
yeah,
on work on building up that rapport first.
yeah. I can. I will talk to him and like give him basically his final warning to cut the shit out. Because
I would like
I
to
can
see.
definitely see it.
I hope that he reaches out to them and like they can talk in person, you know? I think that
Okay.
be that would be good, like that they resolve it. Um
You realize, so I know, I think you and Peters and I mean a lot of people, and it's fair, prefer to talk in person about a lot of these things, but the realization, the reality of it, excuse me, is we're shift three. It is extremely difficult for us sometimes to
yeah,
come
that's
around,
true.
and it seems like we're always the ones that have to compromise when it comes to that. Nobody
Oh no,
comes to our shift.
I was gonna go into shift 3 and talk to him myself, and then I said I figured I'll talk to Skye about it before I go yell at him myself.
Like, I understand you will do that sometimes, right? But literally no one else does. And so when it comes to it, when we have to discuss these issues, sometimes these reports are the only way we have.
No, you're totally fair for that. I guess it's just because I do see Jimmy come into shift 2 like once or twice a week,
He does, usually
but
like weekends.
it's to hang out with Ruby.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Uh, yeah,